it. This is the Red Ticket Blues Podcast. I am Brian Buckley. This is being recorded on May 23rd to hit the internets on May 24th. Did you miss me? Only one podcast last week. Did you get through it okay? Were you laying on your bed, gasping for air, looking like a dope fiend, needing hydration issues, not being able to function correctly? Well, it's okay, because I have this podcast, and I have lots of others if you need more to get you back on the road to recovery on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, YouTube, and Google Play. Follow me on Twitter, BrianBuck13, and Red Ticket Blues. So, like I said, last week, I was traveling. So that's why a second podcast was not done. You heard the one podcast with, I'm saying that's like the seventh time I've said podcast already, with WFAN sports talk show host John Jastrzemski, which was great, as I expected, as we all expect, quality work from JJ. What did I want to say? So there's a lot to get to today. We're going to try to touch on all the sports, all of them, that's right. And where else would we begin with the most important story of the day? And that is, of course, my weekend. So the reason I was traveling is because my wife, we were in California, and my wife got a job. I don't think I'm going to reveal exactly what she does or where the job is, because I don't think she wants me to. So we'll just say this. It is in Northern California, and I will be moving there. That's right. That's breaking news. I will be moving to California in late summer, early fall. So, yeah, after 35 years in New England, it's been real. And I'm going west. Going west, sort of, young man. That's right. So, yeah, we went out there, scouted out the scene in the unnamed town that we plan on living in. So, like I said, it's Northern California. Obviously, the area, not big sports fans, as I went to, well, I think we may have gone to more than 3 bars, but in 2 or 3 separate bars, I asked the bartender to put on the A's game. And it's not like I have any real rooting interest in the Oakland Athletics, because I don't think there are really many Oakland Athletic fans give a shit about the A's. But it happened they were playing the New York Yankees. So I asked the bartender, hey, can you put the A's game on? And the same reply every time. Yeah, that's cool. Do you know what channel it's on? Do you know what channel it's on? It's Northern California. You're very close proximity where we are to Oakland, and you don't know where that is. I was baffled. Plenty of San Francisco Giants stuff. A lot of Boston Red Sox hats everywhere too. Very obvious, very obvious, very odd, very strange. But good time had by all. Take a look at the place, find a place to live. And, check out the scene. So that's right. That is the breaking news. That was why I could not give you the sports any way that I can. That's the big breaking news. Got to take my first real red eye from the middle of the night, and then you wake up in New York in the morning. And for people that travel all the time, they probably don't even think about it. I mean, I guess I travel moderately compared to the person who doesn't travel and then the person who travels all the time. The boarding process is still so ridiculous. Well, not ridiculous, but the people themselves. Every time, well, we're going to start boarding. Those in Group A, please come up. Group A, we can start the boarding process. And everyone goes up. Why? Why? If you personally get on the plane, there are no studies that actually prove this, but I think some people have read some reports, probably done by NFL, senior analysts senior committee members who, they like to print false information. They, the studies show that, if you personally get on a plane quicker, the plane will leave quicker individually. The other people doesn't matter. So you can still ignore the boarding process. Your plane will leave quicker. It's not true. I still never get it. It actually slows everything up, and I don't know. Every time. Please remove yourself from the. If you finish putting your baggage above, please sit down so others can get by. People sitting there talking it up. Hey, how you doing, Stan? Whatever. I don't know. Then that whole process of getting on the plane, which I always love. The people that have already boarded, they're looking at you as if you are such a hindrance to their existence. They're just mean looks of just, oh, God. maybe it's just me. Maybe they hate me. Maybe I smell or I look like I'm angry or something like that. But just the looks that everyone get. Oh, can you just get on the plane already and sit the fuck down? Oh my God. And what happens immediately is you sit in that power chair and you sit down and you get yourself in. You look up and you get that exact same look to everyone else. Can these people board the plane? When are we going to leave? Oh, we're already late. This is insane. They haven't even closed the cabin door yet. Plane jokes. Hysterical. So that was the trip, and I am back. And I did like the sporting scene out there. Well, I say sporting scene, but the watching of sports. It was good. I'm kind of worried, honestly, about watching the Yankees once I get there, because it'll be 4 o'clock when the game starts. So it's something I'm going to have to live with. I can join the game late, Brian. Then you can do that. You don't have to hit it from the first inning. But anyways, let's start with the NFL. And with this is the middle to end of May, this seems like the 1 month they don't dominate. And but they're dominating this. It seemed like just today or the last few days. We'll start with that. What the hell? I'm sort of stumbling here. We'll start with Brady. And Tom Brady, New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady is now, I guess, I don't know if they like to use the word appeal, but he is using his option. He files a petition for suspension case rehearing. So, yes, the whole Deflategate nonsense, that last decision rendered a 4-game suspension. He and his legal team are filing a petition for a suspension case rehearing, which means that what they're going to do is they can ask to have all the judges that were involved in the last ruling review the case again. So, according to the filing, Brady's legal term led by U.S. petition for a panel rehearing or a rehearing en banc. In an en banc hearing, all 13 judges on the court would rehear the case. The facts are so drastic and so apparent that the court should rehear it, according to led by former U.S. Solicitor General Ted Olson. So, the court continues to hear nonsense about deflated footballs and waste the taxpayers' money and waste the court's time. But I will take a stand on this. And I think a lot of people are saying, oh, well, Tom Brady, give it up. Enough is enough. You lost. Take it like a man. Move on. But you know what? Let's look at the case again here. Why wouldn't he? Who cares? What does he care? We all know this whole nonsense. This isn't even about deflated footballs anymore. This isn't even about air pressure. This is just about a big piss. It's a saving face contest at this point. No one gives a shit about air pressure anymore. None of that even matters. It doesn't. Tom Brady instructed the trainers, the ball boys, ball men, to deflate footballs. I think most people, Patriots, Jets fans, Seahawks fans, Broncos fans, I think we all have to come together and admit this. It most likely happened. However, I don't find it to be that big of a deal at all. I think most quarterbacks do have some sort of say how much air pressure is in their football. The Wells report showed nothing. And I don't think he should have been suspended. That's my personal feeling. Now, but again, from a Tom Brady standpoint, why wouldn't he? Why would you take it like a man? I didn't mean it like that, but yeah, take it like a fucking man. No, why not? You have another avenue to go down. Go ahead and use it. Doesn't make any sense to me. So everyone complaining about, if you want to go the taxpayer route, I guess you could use that and say, this is clogging up the court's time when they could be, delving through all sorts of other bullshit that no one cares about. But hey, let him use this option, because after that, he's out of options. It's like a minor leaguer, like a guy who's struggling in the majors. He's out of options at this point. You either cut him or keep him. No more options to minor leagues. Terrible analogy. Because the only thing after this is the Supreme Court. And I don't think anything's happening there anytime soon with 8 judges, and they're trying to block Obama. The Republicans are trying to block Obama from having a choice in the next Supreme Court justice. So who knows how long that will continue, and we'll have to see. So Supreme Court does not look like a real option. By the time they hear that fucking thing, he'll be retired by then. So the other news in regards to the NFL, and that is the NFL doing NFL things, which is disgustingly, dastardly, and dirty. 3 Ds. And that is they found out that, they didn't find out. Congressional report says NFL waged improper campaign to influence government study. So the government study, so where was this? It was the prominent Boston University Research. They're doing a big study about, brain injuries in football, because, the NFL doesn't like to talk about that. And the NFL said, hey, you know what? We're going to help you out. We're going to contribute to this. And this was in 2012. We're going to give you some money in this, all right? We're going to give you, let's see, the study has been funded out of $30 million to help you out in this, all right? So you go ahead, find what you got, find out what's there. We'll have a rebuttal for that, and we'll all dance around, kumbaya, and saying we're making the game safer. How about Morley safer, too, huh? He didn't really enjoy retirement. Was he retired for a week? Dead. I just use a word. That's all. That's the only reason I came to it. It wasn't even on my I was going to say my show notes. My show notes are written on the back of a business card. That is how small my writing is right now. But anyways, so $30 million, unrestricted gift by the NFL. Everything's good. Hold up. Then they found out Robert Stern, an expert in neurodegenerative disease, was criticized the league in the past. The NFL backed out, said, not involved. The perfect comparison to the NFL is the cigarette companies. And the analogy's probably been made before. They like their own doctors looking at stuff. Not other doctors, with them fancy degrees and whatnot, who aren't beholden to the NFL or the cigarette company. No, these are the ones. Cigarette smoking is good for you. It says it right there. Okay, Mickey Mantle smokes. Come on. John Wayne, all those guys. Humphrey Bogart. They didn't die of lung disease. Well, Mickey didn't, but come on. It's good for you. Hey, there are no head injuries in football. Why would you think that? They're only smashing their heads into each other at 40 miles an hour. Come on. What are you, stupid? They're like the NFL. It's almost like they're like Lionel Hutz or from The Simpsons or Jackie Childs from Seinfeld. Lionel Hutz, he wants his own doctors looking at stuff like Dr. Nick Riviera. And, Jackie Childs, the attorney from Seinfeld, he always wants, we never saw him, but he said, whenever something happened, he'd say to his secretary, Julie, call Dr. Bison, tell him it's for me. Never saw Dr. Bison, but it was, obviously we know Dr. Bison works with Jackie Childs to get the bomb out. Who told you to get the bomb out? So, Jackie Childs, Lionel Hutz, and the cigarette company. That's who the fuck you are, the NFL. And then at the end, which is even dastardly, this is just like NFL arrogance at the end too. They're like, you know what? Sorry about that. Maybe we shouldn't have done that. Back out, saying it to this study, saying, well, you know what? Here, we're gonna try to lessen the criticism here. Here's $2 million. Is that cool? Are we cool now? Is that cool? Are we straight now, man? $2 million, and they're just like, get the fuck out of here. No. And they said, no, you're not getting your $2 million. We're not taking your $2 million. You can keep it and use this to turn it into some sort of PR nightmare for us, which you won't be able to because the entire congressional report will show that you are scumbags. It's unbelievable. And you know what? The NFL has us by the short hairs. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. You know what? This is a story for a few days. And then you know what? We're chomping at the bit for fantasy leagues in September. Oh, God, I can't wait for week 1. No one cares about this. No one cares. We really are like viewing, I guess we view all sports like the gladiators, ancient Roman gladiators, but even more so in football. It's just like, God damn it, do stuff for entertainment. If you get your brains beaten, who gives a shit? It'll just be a lion to rip you apart. But it was a good time for 2.5 hours. That was fun. I've seen a picture of the NFL Senior Vice President of Health and Safety Policy, which is Jeff Miller. Oh, boy, he looks good. He looks like Jam from Parks and Rec, but without the long hair. And without the beard or the goatee. So maybe he doesn't really look like Jam, but he looks slimy. We'll put it that way. He looks like someone you shake his hand, and next thing you know, your wallet's gone. He's walking out of there with your wife and kids. Oh, God. Committed $16 million. No, we're taking that back. Objectives and committed 16 to... The NFL agreed. So wait, one said 30 and then another one said 16. What am I missing here? This is research. The study was to have been funded out of a $30 million unrestricted gift. Okay. According to the NFL, agreed to the objectives of the CTE study and committed $16 million, nearly the entire budget. So this is basically the whole congressional element to this, is that they signed something and then backed out of it. And they pledged a lot of money, and, well, can't do that. It's a no-no. But that's the NFL, ladies and gentlemen. That is the NFL. So, moving on to other things. Yes, other things like I'm drinking a beer, and you know what? It's a repeat. I didn't plan this very well. It's a repeat. I think it's the last beer I had in here, which is from the Black Hog Brewery, which I suggest to anyone in Connecticut or anyone who likes to, as I'm spitting beer, likes to travel to go to breweries. Black Hog in Oxford, Connecticut. I am drinking the same beer, the Swag, which is a summer wheat ale. I don't know what the G stands for, but summer wheat ale would be the SWA in Swag. It has a big pig on it with, the G. I was just going to say, it has a big pig on it with a grapefruit in his mouth, but I think that's what it is. That's what the G stands for. So, yeah, I've had their beer. This one's not the best one, but it pairs well with aged sheep milk. Pecorino. Grab a cold Swag and pair with a lobster roll garnished with grated aged... Okay, stop. I don't need a recipe on the back of my beer. So, what's the next thing we're talking about? Talking a little bit about, real quick here, horse racing. So the Preakness was this weekend, and the Exaggerator won. That is not an exaggeration. 2 horses died in the first race, but no one cares. Care about the Exaggerator. That's all I got there. Speaking of animals, what's up with bears, huh? I know you're rolling your eyes like, what? There's a lot of bears in Connecticut lately. Like, there was one just outside an Applebee's the other day in Plainville, just sitting there. You know, my wife and I, a fucking huge bear too. A few weeks ago, my wife and I went hiking. It was northern Connecticut, and you know, you see the signs: "Be aware of bears." It's a play on words. And, you know, we didn't think much of it because you do see it sometimes. You see the signs. And we're walking with people. And everything's going fine. You know, not worrying about anything. And then all of a sudden, there weren't that many people around. It was just sort of us walking. And next thing you know, you feel like there are bears everywhere. I feel like they're just looking at me. It felt like The Birds, the Alfred Hitchcock movie, The Birds, but with bears. There weren't really any around. There weren't really any. You know, my wife was getting a little worried, and I'm not going to lie, I was a little, you know, there are many ways to die in this world, and I do not want to be mauled to death by a bear. No, that's not one of the ways I want to die. Maybe one day I'll do a podcast of all the ways I do want to die, but that'll be a truly terrifying episode. But the bears, so I pick up a rock, like I'm going to stop a bear family with this rock, and now we're marching through the woods, and every sound, obviously, is a bear charging us. And I have a rock in my hand. So we come around this one bend, right? And we're coming around just a little turn in the trail. And I see this enormous black thing, okay? And I just stop. I stop her. I stop short. Like Costanza's dad. What the hell's his name? Not George. What's his name? I know you're all shouting it at it. Frank Costanza. I stopped short. And I said, whoa, stop. My brain had registered to tell me that was black. It was brown, and it was an enormous root hanging out into the trail that looked like a black bear's ass. Not an ass like in the Great Outdoors bear's ass, but big enough. So it just seems like they're everywhere. I mean, there was one, if any of you are familiar with Connecticut, these are all fucking local stories, my God. Connecticut with Jesus. Having trouble talking, and right now it's a local podcast with a host who can barely talk. If you're familiar with Whitney Avenue in Connecticut, which is a busy street, there's just a bear walking down there the other day. I mean, this is not Colorado. This is New Haven, Connecticut. A population of 130,000 people, and there are bears walking down main streets. What the fuck is going on? What's the deal with bears? All right, I thought I'd just throw that out there. All right, so 20 minutes in, and we barely talked about anything but bears. Oh, God, that was good. So let's jump into the NBA right now, and the biggest news that came down just now is that Draymond Green, Golden State Warriors forward Draymond Green, will not be suspended for the kick in the Johnson, Steven Adams last night. And they upped the flagrant foul, the flagrant one, which is awarded to him last night. Excuse me. and fine him $25,000. Now you go on Twitter and you see the going back and forth. Was it intentional? Was it not intentional? You could sell me that it wasn't intentional, except for the fact it was the second time this series Draymond Green has kicked Steven Adams in the groin. That's some just real dirty shit. I think Draymond Green is just angry because Steven Adams is kind of big and he can actually move. Steven Adams, where the hell did he come from? I mean, I know he's from New Zealand. He played at Pitt. He was a decent player at Pitt. And then all of a sudden he goes, distinguished Adam Morrison almost lookalike, and now he's becoming a force. He's got good moves downstairs, down low, good footwork. I mean, he's not wild. I remember him being much more wild. He seems more refined. And, he has become that third option on that team, the Thunder of Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. And they're up 2-1 on the Warriors last night in a complete drubbing of the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry looked off. The only one who looked like he really wanted to play was Klay Thompson. The rest of the team looked lost. I don't know what's up with that. And I hear some people saying that team wasn't the same after that kick in the private jewels to Steven Adams. But in reality, I mean, the Warriors, outside of a few quarters in this series, really haven't played that well at all. Very interesting. I don't know when the hell is that next game, because man, oh man, the Warriors go down 3-1. I mean, I know how good they are at home, but still, I think a lot of people did not take the Thunder seriously. The Thunder are always perennially good, but you do have to remember a lot of times they are injured, and they seem to be healthy now. It's tomorrow, okay? It's 9 o'clock. Okay, it's Tuesday, I should say. OKC 1.5 point favorite tonight. The Cleveland Cavaliers. By the time you hear this, it'll be over. Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Raptors. And, the Raptors got on the board last week. LeBron James once again shows you how difficult it is to root for him, as he's quoting Jay-Z lines at the end of the game as if he's some sort of, I don't even know what you would say. Because, I mean, Jay-Z is completely infatuated with himself too. So, that wasn't even nearly as egregious as the flop that he did. And you're trying to... You hear people say, well, that's part of the game. You got to sell it. You got to act. Look at how everyone does it. And I hate to be old man with this, but think about all the old guys of the league. The Isaiah Thomases, the Larry Birds, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson. Yeah, I'm sure they played up a few foul calls. Anything ever to that magnitude. And how much of a phony is Kevin Love? Something about that guy rubs me the wrong way, and he continues to not come up big. Not at all. What would happen if they kept Andrew Wiggins? Screw Kevin Love. I can't stand that guy. Dropping dimes. He had 3 points the other night. 3 points. You're a fucking major cog in that artillery, and you scored 3 points. And Kyrie Irving wasn't much better. But this is a hot take. At this point, big prediction. I think they're going to smoke the Raptors tonight in Game 4. And by the time you hear this, you'll know how wrong or how right I am. This is not really going out on a limb because I think most people assume this will happen. So, anyways, yeah, I watched that Warriors game on the plane going to California. And hey, there's nothing more reassuring than being on a plane and getting breaking news that a plane is missing. You got to love when that happens because, again, you feel so safe at that point. You say, you know what? I'll kick my head. Stewardess, another drink, because I mean this is great. I love when planes disappear when I'm on one. But after that game, did you see that? I guess they have it after. Do they have it after all the series? And I'm just not paying attention. It's very. If you're familiar with the Nickelodeon show Guts way back when, it's called Dunk King. It's very similar. It's in a really big studio, lots of cheesy graphics and light shows and fucking confetti and whatnot. And they just have these random people come in, and I guess they're like professional or they're very good at their craft of dunking. I don't know how great of basketball players they are. You get a little bullshit backstory about how much it means to his mom and how he's been training for this moment to be on Dunk King. It's hosted by, who's it hosted by? Kenny Smith is there, but he's not the host. It's hosted by somebody else. I was going to say Michael B. Jordan, the actor, but I think he's way too big now for hosting Dunk King. Kenny Smith basically just reviews what actually happened. Oh yeah, he jumped up there and then he threw it down. And they have 3 hosts there. One being a former dunk champion, that being Brent Barry, and Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal. Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal look like they want to be anywhere else on the entire planet than judging dunks on Dunk King. Brent Barry seems to be, I guess, a little bit into it. His resume on the broadcasting field is not nearly as big, nor is it on the accolades of playing as well. So maybe that's why he's a little more enthused. But it's an odd show. It's and you got the fake crowd who just comes in because they were let in and they're holding the fake pre-made signs. It has so much of an element of guts to it that I immediately thought, I said, do they have to take home like a glowing ball or something comparable to the aggro crag? Because if you don't have the aggro crag, what the fuck has this been all about, right? A lot of swearing. Is it necessary? I don't know. I'm not sure. We will jump into, hey, you know what? How about this? Hockey, I haven't really been watching it. I've been watching a little, I guess. Very little. But the Minnesota Stars? Oh, shit, am I saying this wrong? Or St. Louis Blues. So yeah, Minnesota Stars. I guess they're very bad, and they're in the Western Conference Finals against the San Jose Sharks. And I even know the East too. It's the Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. I can name one player on all four of those teams, that being Sidney Crosby. And I guess people don't like him. He's dirty or he complains a lot. One or the other. I'm sorry. I want to watch hockey. There's just too many other... You know what it comes down to with me in hockey? There's other things, other sports I want to watch. You know, I'd rather watch the NBA playoffs. You don't see many people that are like, oh, I love the NBA final. I love the NBA. Oh, and I love NHL. You just can't do it. You can't. There's not enough hours in the day. You have to stay up late watching pre-recorded games, live and pre-recorded. So, baseball. So the big fight last week, which was great. I think all fans of all teams outside the Blue Jays loved seeing Jose Bautista get punched in the face. And it was a connect. It was a connect indeed. So, that's good. I don't know, I guess. That's kind of old news at this point. The New York Yankees have won 5 games in a row. They have the night off tonight. And I was going to say they're threatening to climb out of the cellar, but they actually have. Now, this is the stand I'm going to take with the Yankees, and I'm going to stand by this, all right? I'm not changing my tune because me, like many fans, have changed their tune a million times, and it's May 23rd. I am not changing my tune on this for 1 week. You know what? Brian Cashman gets a lot of shit, and a lot of it is well-deserved, especially some of the acquisitions for free agency when it comes to pitching, in addition to other free agents. But I'll say this. This team is old. This team is not good. They've won 5 in a row. They played the A's, all right? Let's back off. And they lost the series against the Diamondbacks. Let's calm down. All right. So they're getting closer and closer to 500. People are pitching well. Even Pineda did well the other day. Luis Severino's not pitching well. CeCe looks good. Evaldi, Tanaka, all pitching really well, only giving up a few runs each in each start. So yeah, you like it. You like it. We're not expecting the Yankees. If the Yankees make the playoffs, that's good. I don't want them to be sellers just yet. And I don't think they will, obviously, with a 5-game winning streak going up. But what I'm trying to say is, in a long, convoluted way, is Brian Cashman did everything right this offseason. He did not sign any free agents. Because let's be honest, it's not about this season. It is not about this season whatsoever. My computer just froze. I'm just going to keep talking. All right. I desperately needed a new computer. This thing is an enormous piece of shit. It looks like... Oh my God, this isn't even like a heartbeat. It's recording, so stop looking at it. So that's where we are with the Yankees. I mean, just let them be. So if they go into a losing streak, which they will, we all know that's going to happen. They can't keep this momentum up. You know why? Main reason, they're not good. Let this happen. This is not about this year. This is about getting these guys, Teixeira and Sabathia, off the books. It's about, I know I'm not saying anything new, but what I'm trying to tell Yankee fans is that when it eventually goes downhill, because it will, please don't go crazy. And yeah, I'd like to be able to practice what I preach, because no one wants to watch a losing team night in and night out. But this is what's supposed to happen. Trust the process. Mike Tannenbaum voice. Okay? Trust the process. Now the Mets, how about these New York Mets? A team that was hot in the first month of the season. Look bad. No, I'm not going to do that to you. they just sort of lost their way. Lucas Duda going on the DL for at least 4 to 6 weeks in a stress fracture in his back, which that sounds very, very painful. My back hurts me in the morning, and I don't think there's no stress. There ain't no stress fracture there. Yes, I said that. So I can just imagine. I couldn't imagine. Matt Harvey, who is Matt Harvey? Obviously, that is probably the biggest story that we've heard because, he has an ERA in the 6s at this point, I believe. And what is going on with this computer? None of you are seeing any. There's no issues, but it's bothering me. And he has no velocity. His velocity, I guess they're saying his velocity is down a little. And then I was reading something today that it wasn't. He's out of shape. He's not mixing his pitches well. This is all regurgitated information that I've been reading. I'm not a scout. What is wrong with Matt Harvey? Now, this is the part where you'd probably say, oh, Brian, you must be taking a lot of glee in this. Part of it, I've never taken any shots at Matt Harvey on the field. Of course, there was his pitch issue, the pitching innings limits last year. And hey, maybe I'm not going to say this and state this fact as if it were law. Maybe Scott Boras knew what he was saying when he wanted to shut him down after 180 innings. Now, all of a sudden, it's just not working. Now, others will say, well, he's still throwing. His mechanics just aren't that great right now. It has nothing to do with the strength of his arm. Okay, well, perhaps, but he's not the same guy anymore. I think he will turn it around because Matt Harvey is Matt Harvey, as much of a prima donna and just sometimes insufferable guy off the field. He is a gamer. He's a bulldog. He's all the cliche bullshit, ace language that we use when it comes to with your number one starter. He's all of that and more on his best day. But right now he's not. Dramatic pause. He'll turn it around though. I think I have full confidence he will turn it around because I don't think that guy. There's other people that go, shit, I gave it a shot. I just could never turn around. I don't think that guy's arm will fall off before he does that. Yoenis Cespedes continues to I don't want to say make me look stupid. I never said he wasn't good, but man, he just keeps hitting the ball out of the park at a furious pace. And he's putting up some numbers that lead the league in home runs, RBIs. Even his average is pretty good. Last time I looked, it was hovering around 300 and close to 300. Bartolo Colon, huh? How about him? He hit that home run a few weeks ago. Now we found out he's got a double life. Not so cute anymore. Fat Bartolo gif. Oh, no. All those funny pictures, how fat he is, and how he looks like Andre the Giant's nephew or something. Oh, but he doesn't pay child support on his secret family. Forget the morality issue of it. Secret family seems... double life seems difficult. You got to remember a lot. Hey, remember when I said that about that? No. Oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't tell you. That's right. Yeah, boy. Cliche double life jokes. You got to love this, huh? I got more. What's up with guys leaving the toilet seat up? All right. I think that's all about... but no, there's one other thing I wanted to mention. What was it? Well, there was David Ortiz, who... David Ortiz is having an amazing season. How amazing, Brian? Well, I'll tell you. Well, there's some other stuff. I didn't really actually do any research on this. Maybe I will next time. Men dressing as dogs and reporter shits on lawn. Those are some of the things I was going to talk about tonight, but I never did the research on them. I'm sure you could just look that up. Yeah, reporter shit on a lawn. I guess they fired him. I don't know what. It kind of sounds interesting, though. And men that want to live like dogs, which... That reminds me of those when they have to be fake. These grown men who want to dress like babies and the early Maury shows. Oh, why is he a baby? 40-year-old man. He's sitting in a playpen just like a baby. Yeah, David Ortiz and the Red Sox. Listen, they're starting out a lot better than I ever thought they would. And we all know they had the offense. The pitching is starting to come together. Joe Kelly's pitching better. Rick Porcello, holy Christ! When did you become this good? Eduardo Rodriguez, their young stud pitcher, I guess he's still having setbacks coming back, returning to the starting lineup. Jackie Bradley's got a 27-game hitting streak. Jackie Bradley, the same guy who's borderline Major League Baseball some team, he's a quadruple A player, now has the world on fire. And he seems like a nice guy, good for him. But the only reason I think he's a nice guy is because I saw him at a game once give a ball to a kid when he was right in front of me. That's my barometer of if he's a nice guy or not. Who knows? He could kill kids after the game. I have no idea. But here, David Ortiz is 40 years old. And it's May 23rd, these numbers. He's batting .329. .329. He hasn't batted .329 for a season since 2007. He's batting .684, slugging percentage, .684. The last time he batted .684 slugging percentage was never. OPS. He has an OPS of 1.092, over 1,000. The last time he did that, never. He has 11 home runs, 19 doubles. He had 37 doubles all last year. He has 19 already. Someone tell me what's going on. Someone want to tell me what's at 40 years old. Mr. David Americo Arias Ortiz is putting up those numbers. Now, is it possible at his age? Of course. He has a history. A history of what? He denied those steroid abuses. I don't want to make this every show about me accusing David Ortiz of doing steroids. Because I know, you know what, it might sound tedious and repetitive at this point. But he continues to put up these insane numbers. And I don't know. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Because guys are continuing to do steroids, as we know. You make your own conclusion. You make your own conclusion on what's going on with David Ortiz. Maybe, is it sour grapes me as a Yankee fan to see my team, continually not throw at him, not pitch him even inside at the very least, and have him murder the team? And to switch over to the other channel on Nesson and see him, oh, another game-winning home run, I'm going to play dirty water. Maybe that's it. Make your own conclusion. Another question. Do you guys see bears? Anyone here hike and see bears? I forgot to ask. I wanted everyone to know that. Anyways, that's the podcast. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Sort of all over the place. I'm trying to get back in the saddle here. All right. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Later this week, we will have, should I release the guest? Yeah, what the hell? Why not? Jared Diamond, who covers the Yankees and Mets for Wall Street Journal, will appear on the Thursday Talk episode, which everyone loves. Everyone loves it, right? Right. So, that's the podcast. Remember, you can always listen to this show and all the other shows on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, YouTube, and Google Play. And if you want to see what I say every day, you don't have to wait for the podcast. You want to hear my daily quips of hilarity that will just brighten your day and put a smile on your face? Well, you can follow me on Twitter at BrianBuck13 and at Red Ticket Blues. Hey, if you like the show, and tell people about it. Just say, hey, what day is today? Oh, it's Thursday. Well, I listen to the Red Ticket Blues podcast, so it's that simple. I mean, you won't look weird at all. It'll help me. And if you don't want to do that, well, at least subscribe. Leave a rating. So maybe that you don't have to talk to people, but it'll help them going forward. iTunes, Stitcher, any of those places. Just leave a rating. Remember to subscribe, and that's it. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll be back later on. With all that being said, I'm out of here.